how can these visa holders know if their valid visa was revoked? And can this like happen without like notice?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of in a circumstance where if you haven't received an email, but you've had a run in with law enforcement, I apologize, I keep coughing. They're pretty cagey now, in terms of their like lack of response. You could try emailing them or using the Visa Navigator system to see if you could get some feedback from them. I will say with this round of cancellations, the State Department has been pretty on the ball about making sure people are aware that their visas are canceled. And the reason for that is panic based. They want people to panic. They want people hopefully to be outside of the United States when the visa cancellation occurs, right? So that way they get stuck. But alternatively, if they are here in the United States and you cancel their visa right before the holidays, they have to make a really hard decision, right? Do I risk not being able to come back into the United States, or are you going to just miss the holidays with your family? Which it's a difficult decision for anybody to make, but that's the point. And I really can't impart this knowledge on people more because I'll have consultations where like, we've never had issues with this before. And I'm like, I feel like I'm having to be like, a whistleblower or somebody who's like screaming off a hilltop when I explain this. You guys got to stop pretending we're in last year. This administration. That's not where we are now. Like, cruelty is the point. The reason why they do these things, or when someone says, why are they doing this to me or to my company? The point is cruelty. They want to disenfranchise people from participation in the immigration system. They don't want people applying for visas, and this is what they want to do to make it so difficult to do it that you take your ball and go home. And like I said earlier, and I'm going to keep saying, this is year 1 of 4. So as we close out this year, we know the tactics that they've employed previously, and we're now going to have to see the tactics they employ next year. Kind of off topic, but just so you guys are aware of this and anybody that's listening, I have seen something occurring enough that I think it can probably be called a trend, in that I have noticed there has been a big uptick in the issuance of 221Gs for individuals that are applying for H-1B visas who work with consulting companies in the circumstance that the individual is working subject to a petition where they are working in-house. So what I've seen is essentially if they are looking at your H-1B petition and they say, this person looks like they're working in-house, they will issue a 221G, interview the individual extensively about the specifics of the project, and then send the petition back to USCIS for FD&S review. And I have seen that enough times that I don't think this is something that's just kind of a one-off. It seems there has to be some sort of policy internally that was made by the State Department to take this cause up, because I've seen it happen to someone who had no documents to prove their project was valid. I've seen it with someone who had documents to prove their project was valid. They treated both cases the same. They seem to operate under the guise that if you have an in-house project and you work for a contractor, a third-party contracting company, or a company that does any level of third-party placement, there is a default within the State Department that your case has a fraud issue associated with it. And so I would say if you are someone that works in that circumstance in the United States presently, and you are going for a visa, you need to be prepared, because you're likely going to be subject to a very high level of scrutiny and a potential issue with FD&S that could conclude with FD&S attempting to revoke the H-1B petition.